Hi everyone, welcome to Pandas tutorial series as we are doing it as part of the data science using Pandas. In this video, we are going to cover two important topics, that is the group by clause and then followed by how do we do the concatenation of the data frames. So in this video, we will concentrate on group by, and in the next video, we will concentrate on concatenation. So group by, then followed by the concatenation of data frames. That's essentially the topics. So what is group by? So essentially we have to do a grouping at the data frame level. That means it is going to involve some sort of combination of splitting the object, then you apply a function, and then you basically try to combine the result. So it is in short, it is abbreviated as split, apply and combine. So that's basically people will do when they work on the data frames, because as part of data science you tend to do splitting, then you tend to apply some functionality, and then you basically try to combine the results. So it is used to group large amounts of data and compute operations on these groups. So what are the details? So you basically create a grouping of categories and apply a function to the categories. Then you split. So it is a process in which we split the data into group by applying some conditions on the data set. That means you now got the split, you have split the data, so you essentially have got the data sets, and then you apply basically some conditions on the data set. Then applying is a process in which we apply a function to each group independently. So essentially you have created a group of categories, then you apply a function. So you first of all you have done the splitting, then you have applied, and then as a last step you need to do the combining. So combining, it's a process in which we combine different data sets after applying group by and results into a data structure. So that is what essentially people will do as part of processing or as part of data science when we use Pandas for doing the group by activity. So perform grouping. So here we are basically going to make use of using the group by function. That is what the title or the topic that we are currently understanding. Then you access a specific data based on the grouping. That means get the group. Then you perform useful functions on the grouped data. You try to get the statistics, whatever the statistics you want to get, and then if you like you can plot the grouped data. So that is what basically we are in nutshell or as an overview people tend to do as part of the group by activity. So let's do similar activity as part of our demonstration. So let's go to the Jupyter notebook. So here we are going to obviously use Pandas. So we are imported the Pandas. Then we are going to read the data, which is a temperature data. We have already used temperature data of a particular city, New York, and then we on our own we created our own data so that we can understand the missing, how to handle missing data. So we have seen, so similar data is taken. However, now we have taken data for multiple cities. So the multiple cities data is something like this, where we have weather data for New York, we have weather data for a city in India called Nagpur, and then we have another city in France, that is Paris. So we have basically taken temperature, then the wind speed and the different events. So some for a few days in January 2005. So we have basically taken this data. So we are now going to use this Excel sheet. So using this Excel sheet, that is a CSV file, we are basically going to create a data frame. So let's create a data frame. So you can see in this data frame, because we have read all the data, that is multiple cities data. So you got this particular data frame where we have the data of all the three cities. Now we want to find the maximum temperature in each of the cities. So and then we want to find the average wind speed and stuff like that. That means we want to do some analytics, or we want to basically do some data processing on it. So we can basically first make use of the group by feature of the Pandas. So we will make use of df.groupby, and we want to group it as per city, because we want to find these information as per the grouping that we are going to do, and that is as per the city. So let's now try to run this group by. So we have used this group by. So now we have created another object which is called as group. So we are now going to find the, so for example we want to, we have now grouped it as per the city. So let's first try to print that data, and then we'll try to do some other activities like getting maximum temperature and stuff like that. So now we have this object which is a group object. So we can see it is a data frame group by object. So we are now going to write a loop, and then there is a key. So key is now going to be the city, and the other one will be the data. So we are now going to use, that is, so C is the key and then the df city is the other information. So let's try to basically write invoke this loop. So we can see that now it has printed the key, and then for that particular key it has printed the data. So for Nagpur it has printed the date, the temperature, wind speed. Obviously city also it has printed because that's part of data. Similarly for New York, similarly for Paris. So now we have basically made use of the group by, and the group by is on the city. That's why the city name acts as a key. This is very important. City name acts as the key. Then we can actually get a particular group also based on the city. So here we know that there are three cities, Nagpur, New York, and so we can simply run it. So with Nagpur you got it. Suppose if I just do it here Paris, then and if I run it, then you can get the details about Paris. So like that we can basically because city is now acting like a key. So we can get that. Now we want to get the, say for example, maximum temperature. So we want to get the maximum temperature in each city. So we have formed anyway the group object, so which was done here. So this is the grp is the group object. So now we will make use of a functionality max. So if I do use the functionality max, it's going to give me the maximum temperature for each of the cities. So for Nagpur it is 95 degrees, for New York it is 36, and Paris it is 53. So we can see that this is the 95, then whatever. So here you can see that it is Nagpur highest is 95, here it is say 36, and here it is I think 53. Yeah, so that's the way you got it. So obviously corresponding to that particular say 95 you got wind speed, and then you got the event. So you can see that. So you got it 15 and then the form whatever. So like that you basically have got the maximum temperature for particularly for so here you can see that you got the wind speed as 15, and then the sunny was the this one. So you can see it here. So 95, and then here it has given the maximum of the wind speed, that is 15, and then here it has given for this particular maximum whatever was the event, it has given it as a sunny. So however we cannot rely on the event, however it has given the max of this one. So this is as per ASCII, so we cannot go much into details about the event. The most important thing is the maximum temperature as well as the wind speed, which is maximum, which is, so that means now it is not correlated. 95 is not correlated to 15. 15 is something different, which is maximum. So 15 is here when, and the temperature is 95. So like that you can, another example is here 36 is the New York, and then the wind speed is 12. So 36 is New York maximum temperature, and the maximum wind speed is 12. Similarly we can think about 53 and then the 20. So 53 and 20 will be the temperature, max temperature and max wind speed. So all these now parameters are maximum. Event we have to ignore because it's not going to help much, because it's not a numeric value. Then we want to get a mean value, then we can get an average. That means, so how do we get? So it is going to calculate mean for you. So for temperature it is going to calculate mean, similarly for wind speed for each of the city, that is which is acting like a key. Then if I want to get a minimum, I can simply get min, and then I can get the minimum. So here I am going to get wind speed minimum, then some temperature minimum, then similarly for New York temperature, and then the Paris temperature. Then because now this is little confusing, so people get confused, because what is happening now is that when the temperature is minimum, need not be wind speed is minimum. So it is some wind speed which is minimum and some temperature minimum. So people might get confused. So there is another nice feature which is called as describe, and describe is going to give me the various statistics. So if I run this, so I am now going to get all the statistics. So here it is going to give me the mean, standard deviation, then the minimum temperature, then whatever is the 25% off, then 50%, 75% and max. So it is 25% of this, 50% of this, like that it is going to do. Then wind speed similarly, then all those statistics information is available. So this group.describe basically helps me to get a snapshot of all the statistics. Then I can also plot this graph. So I'm just doing group.plot and automatically it will plot as per the temperature and the wind speed, because per city it is going to plot the temperature and the wind speed, because it has identified that these are the two columns. So it's basically going to basically print it or show it as a graph. So here you can see this is Nagpur followed by New York followed by Paris. So here this is the blue line is the temperature and then the wind speed. Similarly for New York, this is that blue line is temperature and wind speed, and then comes the Paris. So this is the blue line and this is the wind speed is the red line. So like that we can basically make use of a group by clause as part of pandas. So that's basically we have tried to cover as part of this one. So essentially the approach is you split the object, you apply a function. So here we applied min, max, mean, describe and all that. So all those functionality we have seen. Then at required we can combine the results and we can produce it. So that's basically as part of this video we have covered a group by clause. So thank you.